Hello YouTube, this is Morgan Airspeed Prime here with my next Avatar Generations video. So in this one, I'm going to go over a little bit about the update that came to the game yesterday, which is actually a relatively small update in terms of like notable stuff. But I'll also be talking about the news here, and I suppose I'll jump into it straight away. That is that we know when the Azula, Mei, and Ty Lee banner is coming into the game. Well, I suppose technically we don't know the precise date, but we know it's coming soon, and realistically is coming at some point that is probably either next week or 2 weeks from now. And that's my interpretation of it. But we know it's coming. They're finally like confirming these characters are coming into the game. There was an extra little bit of information that came out because they got the like update text wrong. Like if you kind of have a notification for when updates come out, the one about this says that this is going to be a triple threat banner. So all three characters are going to be in the exact same banner, which makes that a very challenging one if you are trying to get all three characters from the banner. So I will be going over sort of like tips and tricks for how to get as many Peace Chaos tickets, as many Nature Stones as possible for that event. So, first of all, I suppose just in terms of the logic behind when it's going to be. There's an event quest that's obviously going to be coming in relation to that. The new Ozai event obviously makes sense because that's when like the Ozai's Angels, Team Azula, kind of really make their debut as a team is in New Ozai. So the event quest obviously is probably going to come when this one ends, and that's in 7 days, as you can see here. If you look at the banner that came with that event quest, the Zuko one, it says that this has 14 days left. So I forget if they ever have had two Peace Chaos banners overlap like that. But my assumption is that they'll either do it like next week when the event quest ends and they'll just have a week overlap on these two banners, or the event quest will just be active for a week beforehand. That might be a decent way to do it. They give people the extra week to kind of build up resources. You get to kind of, I suppose, maybe use those characters in the early stages of the event quest, like the way you can use Zuko and Iroh in the stage 1 here. That could be a decent way to do it, but like at some point very, very soon, because I think it has to be in August when the Azula 1 drops. So that's the kind of logic behind that. But just before we go into the tips, let's go into just what came with the new update. Now, ultimately, it wasn't really that much. Of course, we got guilds, which is the most interesting feature, but it's only half of guilds, and it's probably like the least interesting half of guilds. There's some event challenges. In terms of summoning banners, we got the Powerful Opponent banner repeat. Talarik Tug and Kiwok combined together. So it's a Legacy of the Fifth Nation overall, with the idea that like Talarik Tug is literally Fifth Nation, and then Kiwok is has this kind of implied backstory that they're related in the background to Fifth Nation. So both characters are good. So if you really want them, go in on this. But personally, I am saving my Powerful Opponent tickets for the next time we get a new Powerful Opponent character. The other banner that we got was this Relic banner, which has some of the stuff related to like previous characters, some of the other relics. It has a pretty high 5-star rate, so it's probably relatively rewarding. It's just, again, we don't know when the next banner for, like, I suppose, normal character banner for normal tickets is going to be. So I'm kind of saving up. I don't want to really put too much into all this other stuff when we know there's kind of bigger stuff, I suppose, on the horizon. Final thing I'll say about the Legacy of the Fifth Nation one is just that if you do have these two characters already, it is another way to get Peace Chaos tickets if you are kind of building up resources for the Azula banner. When you get duplicates of powerful opponents who are 5-star characters, they don't transform into red tokens. Instead, they transform into 6 Peace Chaos tickets, as far as I'm aware. Now, I know there's some weirdness around Talarik Tug, I think, when his banner was out, but I think in most other cases, it's always been the case that the coin the duplicate coin transforms into 6 tickets. Now, is that a good value, you know, to basically convert effectively 10 powerful opponent tickets into 6-piece chaos. That's up for you, but that's sort of a last ditch, I suppose, way to get piece chaos tickets if you really need them. So that's that. The event challenges, we of course have Legacy of the Fifth Nation. There's some errors and issues with this because a lot of these challenges are very easy to do, but then if you participated in this event previously, you might be very limited in how you can accomplish some of these, or you can't do them at all. So if you've already leveled up all your Pirate and Fifth Nation characters, you won't be able to do any of these Ascend or Upgrade Fifth Nation and Pirate character challenges. They haven't addressed yet that this is obviously a logical issue with the way these challenges work, but I'm assuming there'll be some sort of compensation, or they'll swap out challenges or something like that happens. Otherwise, a lot of these to get powerful opponent tickets are relatively easy to do. You can get some skip tickets for just spending powerful opponent stuff. These ones, the battle ones, are very easy to do. If you have all the characters from like the Kyoshi event and stuff like that, just group them all together, skip ticket through some like low level pirate gold challenges, and you can get done very, very easily. This event challenge is a lot more interesting, playing with fire. I'll actually go to the shop first to show you what we're kind of aiming for. So with the currency there, that new currency, the what's it called, Firelord's Crown, 100 will get you a 5-star character that's basically not one of the Peace Chaos characters. 40 will get you a 4-star character from this selection. Now, my recommendation here would be just don't put it in on the 40s. Like, unless you have a real fan favorite character from one of these ones, don't waste the currency if you get it on the ones for 40. Definitely save up and get 100 and go for one of these characters and get yourself a new skill coin or a brand new character. So myself, the only characters I think from the list that I need are Monkey, Paku, and Zinfu. And I'm probably going to get Paku just because there's not a lot of waterbenders when I get to 100. Now, how do you actually get this stuff? So obviously 60 is available from this event challenge here. So there's 6 challenges here. Each one will give you 10 here. The other 40 for your sort of like free character comes from the daily login bonus. You know, the way you have the login track across 2 weeks for the Generations Festival. In the middle of all of that is, I think, at least 4 iterations of this currency, where I think that will get you the remaining 40. It does require you to go through, I think, hit all of these challenges. They are easy to do. They are just, it's more of a long-term thing. Like, Scorched Uniform from this specific battle waypoint, and it's a long battle, it's a 15 stamina battle, it's a 3-stage battle. Like, it takes a while to do one of these battles. So 20 over the course of like 2 weeks. You can do it, but like it's going to be a bit of a slog to get through that. Omashu vouchers from the 2 timed nodes in Omashu. Very easy. You should be doing these anyway, because these are probably some of your easiest ways to get like extra skip tickets. So that's relatively easy. In time, you'll get that. These are, I think, 8-hour nodes, so they do take a little bit. Timeline tokens can be tricky to build up, especially 150 in 2 weeks. For some people, that might seem daunting, but I'll show you how to grind that so that you will cut that down like really, really heavily. Timed waypoints, they're obviously the kind of bluish kind of nodes on the map. They're easy to do. Battle waypoints, the red ones, of course, and then the resource nodes, the yellow ones, you will do them in time. Just make sure to use every part of the map, and you can do them over and over again. And again, for each time you do an individual challenge, you do get this new relic, which I think the aim of this relic is for, you're meant to put it on May, because it's referencing the scene where like Zuko's meant to shoot the apple off May's head. So, pretty interesting one where like you can remove negative effects from yourself, and when you do, you can remove buffs from your opponent, and that links into what May, Azula, and Ty Lee kind of like do as characters to a certain degree. So that is an interesting one, and obviously there's 6 of them there, so you can max that out, so it goes from 50% to 75%. So that's what's going on there. The final part of the update really is just the guilds, and then the rest, everything else is quality of life and balance patches for characters. Guilds. So you can see here, I am in a guild. I'm in the original Masters. The reason I didn't make my own guild is because it is separated based on server. So EU, NA, and because I couldn't have a mix, I didn't want to be unfair to different people, so I just joined the guild that asked kind of for me to join. So this is good. This way I'm in a guild with some pretty high level players. It's a guild that's kind of treating things a little bit seriously, so hopefully when we get into the raids, it's something I will be able to do and do easily enough, so I can show it off to you guys as well. So I think it's kind of to the benefit of the content I can do that I'm in a pretty good guild here. Now, you can see here, it shows you who your guild leader is, your first officer of your guild, the top arena person within the guild, and then top contributor is just the person who has checked in the most, which right now everyone is basically in or around the same. Everyone has done 2 or 1 because, you know, it's only the second day of guilds basically. So the idea of what you do here, all you can really do in guilds at the moment is do your daily check-in. So you get your daily coins, Paisho tile coins for the arena shop. The more people who check in every day, I think, upgrade the amount of coins you will get the following day. So you can see here we're at the 28 level, and then with one more daily check-in, we'll get to 32. And you know, you can see how you can accelerate going through how many coins you get. Your guild then levels up for every time you get a certain amount of check-ins, and this will unlock new stuff in the shop, like the relic here, like the White Lotus art set, but also resources like energy skip tickets, summon tickets for Azula people. Peace Chaos tickets are available here, 10 per month, and do keep in mind that the banner for Azula will be going on from the end of this month, and it will be into the early parts of September, so you'll have the both months opportunity to do this. Now, I'm pretty sure you probably won't be able to get all of the 10 for the month of August, just because I don't think there's any way it works out that much. But I think you can, yeah, if your guild gets high enough, you might be able to get to unlock the Paisho tiles at the end here and kind of work it out that way, because those are for nature stones. But that kind of, you're working against yourself there. That's not good value. That's just trading 5 summons for like half of a Peace Chaos ticket. It doesn't, the math doesn't work out there, obviously. But yeah, right now that's what the guild is. These are coming soon. I'm not sure exactly when the raids are coming, but the implication was that it would only be maybe a week or 2 afterwards. So we'll know about raids, I guess, sooner rather than later. So that will be exciting when it comes in. The only final thing about guilds, I suppose, just to cover, is that if you look in your inventory, you are actually given, every player is given 5 guild flags to use for the raid bosses. And obviously right now there's no way to get more of that currency. So do keep that in mind. And beyond that, I suppose the final proper update to the game is just in the shop. There are these Make-A-Wish bundles. There's 3 of them. I actually bought the first 2 because one, it's to support a charity, of course. All the kind of proceeds from this, I think, are going towards the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and there's an art set associated with this, and then you get a kind of treasure box with a kind of slightly rarer item. So I'll actually just open the ones that I have here. So I bought the one that has 3 here. So what you can see here is you get the bravery set here, which I'll show off when I open it, and then you get one of the other rewards. So you can get normal tickets, Peace Chaos tickets, 4-star arts, the higher level upgrade materials, and then these tokens are available. We'll get one of them. So let's open up, I think this is the first one here. So you can see here, we got the full, you always get the full set of 6 of the bravery set, which is immunity set. So immunity 1, 2, 3, and then on the 6th set, you get 50% chance to grant immunity, HP regen, or echo to one for 1 turn at the start of each turn, which is actually pretty good. So I do actually kind of like that. Obviously the set, I think it's a similar thing across the board. I'm not sure how much variation you can actually get. HP defense, and then this is speed accuracy. I'm pretty sure that's very similar across the board. But you can see here I got the 10 Peace Chaos tickets. So if you are planning to put money in, like, this is maybe a way to do it, but like as you'll see here, I probably won't get Peace Chaos tickets for all of these, as you can see here. So you can see I just got the 1 ticket here. And to me, this is like this is not good. Like, I would value a 4 to 5 star relic ticket as less than one piece chaos ticket. Like that's how low I rate these kind of tickets here. So I don't even consider that to be that high of an item. If this was like 3 or 4, I think it would maybe be a little bit more equivalent, but it's still not kind of great there. And you can see here speed, accuracy, HP, defense, HP, res. So I think you get pretty much the same ones each time. And then, oh, I actually did get the piece chaos tickets there. So I think I got lucky there with those ones. So I got like 20 piece chaos tickets there, but it just gives you a sense for, like, you know, if you do want to kind of support the charity there, that maybe it might be a good way to actually like spend some money on the game, but like it's entirely up to you there. So that's that. Now, summoning. So you can see here, I'm at the moment where that conveniently that works out where I now have, with my piece chaos tickets and the amount of stones that I have 200 summons. So when the Azula banner, the Azula main Ty banner comes around, I can get to pity on that banner once, because we basically know it's going to be a 200 pity banner. For 3 characters, that's going to make it very, very difficult to get all 3 characters. Where, sure, I could get very lucky across those maybe 200 summons, where along the way I get the first 2 characters and then I get the 3rd character at pity or something like that. You can get even luckier, but some people have got completely unlucky, where you don't pull any of the characters all the way up to pity. You do finally get one of the characters at pity, but it's maybe the one you least wanted. Then what do? You're back to square one. You're suddenly out of resources. Where do you go from there? Now, I think the first thing to note is that there probably will be some sort of a pity shop type thing. So this is what they've been doing for their recent banners with characters, is adding in some sort of a special currency that you earn with a character when you pull them, so that when you pull multiple characters, you eventually have multiple of this currency, and you can maybe buy the other character you didn't get. So for the powerful opponent one here, you can see once you pull, I guess, 2 of any character, you can just get the other character, and that's pretty nice. But it's a bit more strict for, say, like the Zuko event, where I think the coin was a little bit more difficult to get. I think you only got the coin if you pulled Zuko. You didn't get it for Iroh. So you needed 3 Zukos to get another Zuko. You needed 2 Zukos to get an Iroh. Like, it just didn't feel great. And I only put in, like, I think 40 into the previous banner, just enough to get the Iroh. So it's a bit of a kind of awkward situation there, because if it's 3 for the new banner, that's really frustrating, because that would then suggest that Mei, Azula, and Ty Lee will all be available in the shop for 3 of the currency for that event, meaning that you would have to get to pity like 3 times basically, or get very lucky. So I hope they maybe make that a little bit better, where it's maybe 2 coins for each character. That way it's a little bit more reasonable to expect people to maybe, you know, pull a character, then maybe get to pity the first time, and then you can get maybe one of the other characters. I do think it's probably going to be very challenging. I assume they're all 5-star characters. They'll all have the same rate. It is going to be very difficult, I think, to get all 3 of them, unless you just have an insane amount of resources. So I'm assuming that by the time the banner comes out, I'll probably be at the point where I'll have maybe, I'm going to guess somewhere in the region of maybe like 240, 250 summons maybe capable of doing, maybe a slight bit more, a slight bit less, depending on how everything goes. So at the very least, I'll be able to get one thing that I want out of that banner, but I would like to get all 3 of those characters. Like, how can I maximize things going forward? That's in a way like the whole idea of this video. Like, how do you get tokens in a way without, like, buying stuff directly just with money from the store? I'll point out some of the better money kind of value for money kind of bundles. But first of all, the obvious ways to get this stuff. So again, the way those banners work is you can use Peace Chaos, and then when you run out of Peace Chaos tickets, you can use Nature Stone. So that's why I'm mentioning both currencies. Now, of course, from your daily missions, you can get a certain amount of Nature Stones. I think all of these added together add up to about 53, because you have the one that's like 3 for just logging in, and then I think the rest of them add up to 50. If you do the ads every day, the ads will get you, I think, another 50 stones. And then the last one gets you a normal ticket, which doesn't apply for the Peace Chaos banner, of course. So that means every day, at the very least, just by doing all your daily missions and your ads, you will get 100 nature stones. So by the time the banner comes out, that's going to be at least, 700, maybe 1,400, depending on if it's a week or 2 weeks away. And then remember, the event is going on for 3 to 4 weeks after that as well. So you have to factor in that you won't just be summoning at the very start. You'll have the entire time the event is going on as well to build up stuff. So you actually have to keep in mind that you'll have 5 to 6 weeks effectively of daily missions and stuff like that. So you're actually kind of thinking more along the lines of maybe 4,000 kind of gems all over the course of the whole thing. Now, you might be spending them bit by bit over the course of the event, maybe rather than saving them up completely, but it gives you a sense for suddenly you can see the picture a little bit clearer of you go into the event really low and you think as it starts you're nowhere, but by the end you'll actually have a little bit more than you expected. Now, you can get stones every day from another place. I think it's the only place they're actually farmable on the whole map, and so that is the prison rig. So if you go to the prison rig and you go to this battle icon here, this is the Warden's Terrace. It's a very tough fight, but if you do it, it turns this into a resource node. And then if you have the right item, which you actually get from this resource node here, which actually just finished, as you can see. So when you finish this 24-hour node, one of the things you get is stone supplies. Stone supplies is what you need for the resource node after you do that battle. When you give those supplies in, you get 100 nature stones. So you can do this every day, of course, but you do have to remember. What am I doing here? Timed. Yeah, so you can see here, we'll start this. Again, it's a 24-hour node, as you can see here. We get a stone supply, plus some other stuff, you do get 300 boss material. So that's good. So that'll take 24 hours. We'll get another stone for tomorrow. And then what you do is you do this battle. I'll actually do it here because it's a relatively tough battle. As you can see here, you need all earthbenders. See, it's earthbenders only. So you need a full team of earthbenders. It's a 250,000 battle, but do keep in mind there's some really good combinations going on here with the team. The two brothers obviously work super well together, and then the Warden can be a bit of a menace when his abilities start going off. So 250,000, but keep in mind that it's technically slightly higher because of the combinations going on within the team. The Fire Nation soldier is the only kind of useless unit kind of you're going up against. But still, you do need 4 pretty much fully fleshed out kind of units, and that's what I have here. So you can see 3 relatively bulky units in the front line areas with the Platypus Bear defense bonus, and then offense prison Haru in the back. So you can see here, this battle can be a little bit of a coin flip at times, depending on how it goes, but I'll show you the best way to kind of go through it. I haven't lost this one in a while, and again, the idea is if you do this one every day and you have the ability to do this every day, you're basically doubling the amount of nature stones you get every day. So like I said, suddenly by the end of the event you're talking about 4,000 just from your login and ads. Double that to now you're maybe talking more 8,000, and that's nearly half the way to pity there, and there's still a bunch of other ways to get stones and stuff like that. So we're allowed to go first here. So they just hit Tyro. So we're going to target Goro here first. He's the main offensive threat that's going to do so much damage to you, so we want to take him out as soon as possible. So I'm going to hit him with my Haru's advanced skill here, which should also blind other characters. So that's pretty good. Now the Warden uses Tyrannical Laughter. You'll note he granted invincibility on Goro, which doesn't initially show up when, of course, you look at him there. But if you do look at the battle details on Goro, you can see he does have invincibility. So even though I want to take him out first, I can't actually damage him right now. So we're going to switch to targeting the Fire Nation soldier, who is guarding back row warden. Because we actually want to be like, the order of preference is probably Goro first, then the warden, and then Juro. This guy, he's not great, so we have to go through him first. Now you'll note here, I meant to get an extra turn, but I don't because of the warden's mocking stance. So you do have to keep little things like that in mind. But now we can actually start get going. So I'm going to do a combo here, involving Tyro. So this will activate Tyro's ability, which starts to spread Earth debuff around. You'll notice there, even though I only hit like one person, he spread the debuff everywhere. So that's a really nice kind of combo to have, using the using Tyro in combos. So you can see here, Goro is still under invincibility, so I'm just going to use the boulder to hit the frontline Fire Nation soldier. He's out of the way. Now we can target the warden. Because Juro, we're going to leave to the end, just because he has so much health, we can chip away at him at the very end of the battle once the danger is out of the way. So yeah, I'm going to hit the warden here. And just try and break through him. So yeah, we can do the combo again here. So we'll do the strongest for Boomy. And will this take him out? Probably not, yeah. Tyro's very defensive. So you can see Goro's the one doing a lot of the damage here. Spreading some special element around, blocking healing and stuff like that. So he is a bit of a kind of menace going around the place. So this should kill the warden. Yeah, so there's the warden down. Now, he's technically still under invincibility, so I'm just going to target Juro here with this attack. Again, we don't want to waste anything, just because if Goro gets out of control, he can start kind of taking your units out. So again, he's still under invincibility there. That's that little icon here. So we'll continue to attack Juro for now. And I think at this point, should invincibility fall off? So you can see he starts comboing like crazy, but now it's finally fallen off. But you can see my health is getting low on quite a lot of my characters here at this point. So you can see the way the kind of fight ends up going. It can be quite tricky. Now, obviously, one way to avoid this is maybe to make your team faster. So all of your units move before the warden does. Because if you can take out Goro immediately before the warden puts the invincibility on him, the fight goes a lot easier. But there's that. So we'll finally get the extra turn here from Cold Shield because the warden's gone. And we can start again comboing here. So yeah, you can see that spread the Earth debuff again. And there's Goro down. And now Juro can still do decent damage, but ultimately we're just trying to get through his really large health pool, which we did very nicely just there. So you can see there's the battle done. It is a tough one, but if you have the team to do it, I recommend doing it every day. So we do that. Now we don't get the 100 stones just from doing this. Like I said, the battle node then changes into a resource node, and this is the one that requires stone supplies. So you can see here, this will get us the 100 nature stones, along with some other decent stuff. And we can do that. Basically, you can do that as many times as you have stone supplies. But for anyone just starting this kind of loop for the first time, remember the stone supplies is on a 24-hour timer. So I happen to have some because I was doing this kind of node before I had the team ready to actually do the battle. That's why I have a couple of extra. But that, I believe, is the only other place you can get kind of nature stones from and actually grind them, just on the map. Otherwise, you're going to need to go to a lot of the usual places. So if you go to the arena and the arena store, in the resource section, there are Peace Chaos tickets available for arena currency. Now, obviously, you need to be doing at least okay in the arena to probably have enough to buy all 10 of these each month. I'm at the point where I usually can, and in a way I almost don't buy them just because the value isn't as great as you maybe would want. But right now I technically could buy most of what's available here. But for people who are maybe more desperate for the tickets, here is a way to actually get it. Now do keep in mind that you obviously get the arena currency for winning these battles here, but also for your placement at the end. So I'm Sifu 1 currently, so I'm going to get 300 at the end of every week, and I'm usually fighting people that give me at least like 6 or 7 for each win. But you know, that's just, you know, something you have to remember. The other place, it's a very obvious place, is Avatar Timelines. So if you go to Timelines, you can see here, also in resources, there are summon tickets, but also on a monthly cooldown timer are Peace Chaos tickets as well. Now, you get them in groups of 3 here for 70 tokens. So you can get a bunch of these depending on how many you have, which I suppose probably brings up the grinding loop for these tokens. This can be a little bit tricky if you're not aware of it. So obviously if you go to like Yokoya, you have the usual stuff here of walking the adventure paths, gets you like 1 each. You've got a couple of timed nodes here, but most of them only get you like 1 or 2. The resource nodes, again, only gets you like 1 or 2. Same goes for like the fight and this node up here. Nothing super rewarding. It's all like little bits and pieces when you're hoping to get like hundreds, basically, of this currency. It's a little bit better. It's actually much better in the Polar Refuge. So the other Kyoshi area is here. Now, you can see here the way that this works. There's also some paths here, nowhere near as many. But the big thing here is this kind of node here in the middle. This is where you can actually do some stuff here. So I actually need to free up some characters before I do anything here, don't I? So I'll just get rid of Suki from here. And can I actually put a character on here? Oh, I have Kelsang. Okay, I could put him here. Okay, so save team. Okay, so yeah. When you have a spare team, you can go to the resource node. And what this resource node looks for is 3 of the high-level ascension material for someone. Now, it loops through a bunch of different materials. Sometimes it looks for like the pirate one. Sometimes it looks for a Kyoshi upgrade material. Sometimes it's the Sage upgrade material. Now, you can buy all of this stuff from the boss battle shop for, I think it's 5 boss battle coins to get any of them that you want. And all you have to do is go to this node, hand in 3 of them, and you get 5 timeline tokens. And then this node will transform into a battle node, and beating that battle node will get you 10. So it's kind of a back and forth loop to get 15 tokens all at once. So for instance, this one, we're looking for the Sage Talisman Spirit. So we'll go into the boss battle shop here and find this. Okay, shop. We're going to boss battle. We're going to factions, and we are looking for, what's that? Something sage. We're looking for the fire sage hat, basically. So I don't know, have I bought this already this month or not? Okay, so here we go. It's basically Kyoshi era stuff. So it's usually like these ones they ask you for, and it like loops between them. So in this case, you can see here, 3 of the Sage Talisman Spirit is available for 5. So I'll buy that. I don't need to buy more right now because, again, when I go back through it, you'll see that it'll ask me for something different. But as we go through this, you'll see here. So I'll just do this. Resource. I can now do this. I handed my 3. I do that. And I get 5. So straight away, that's so much more than like a lot of other places that are available. Then it becomes a battle. And if you do the battle, of course, you can see here, you get 10. And it is guaranteed 10 every single time. These ones here, the suggestion of like you get the 4-star arts, not the case. You'll probably get a 3-star art from the white time set. But just do keep that in mind. Now, I don't think my Kelsang on his own is going to be... It's a bit questionable here if I could do that on its own, even though it's 70 against 45. But the idea is it's not a super challenging fight. Level 45, a little bit of combo stuff going on here. But once you have a team of Kyoshi characters, you should be able to kind of get through this battle with no real problem. And again, you get 10. And after you do the battle, it changes back into a resource node. But this time it will ask for a different one of those currencies, and you just go back into the shop and get it. And so it's a back and forth 510, 510, 510 resource loop to get what you need. Now, you are spending boss battle coins to go through this, of course, each time, unless you have a huge amount of them already. But for just some stamina and boss battle coins, you are getting 15 timeline currency at a time, which is much better than 1 or 2 at a time. And the idea, of course, is that there's enough of them every week that you can get basically 9 of any material from the boss battle shop every single week. And it loops between maybe 5 or 6 of them. So you can actually get like 100 and something timeline currency every week. So the challenge that says to get like 150 or whatever isn't actually anywhere near as bad as it actually says it is. Once you manage your stamina, boss battle coins, and stuff like that, you are perfectly fine. And again, this node is a 12-hour node that gets you 6 of the currency. That's pretty decent as well. And again, you're aiming to get, what, 210, so you can get like 3 times 3 times 3 Peace Chaos tickets as well. So that's a good loop to do all that stuff. Then you are basically looking for the shop. I suppose just before I go into the shop, do also keep in mind that on the login bonus thing, so like I said, you can get the Fire Nation crown stuff from that, but also I noted on the second week of rewards, there's actually quite a few Peace Chaos stuff, maybe suggesting that the Azula banner is actually coming next week. And I noted the very end thing is actually 10 Peace Chaos tickets. So from the login everyday thing, if you keep up with that, by the end of the first week potentially of the Azula event, you will have 10 to 15 Peace Chaos tickets as well. So there's that. There'll be new event challenges coming into the game every single day, every single week. And I assume, as is usually the case when there are Peace Chaos stuff, some of them will have Peace Chaos tickets available. A lot of the times when there's a new event, you might get some mail that will give you at least a handful of Peace Chaos tickets. So you think you're in a really bad spot right now, but through all of these methods, you can get yourself more and more and more. And again, remember, it might seem like, oh, at panic stations, it's only 1 or 2 weeks away. Think about it more as it's only 5 to 6 weeks away from ending. And once you're playing the game throughout that whole time, you have all that time to actually prepare for it, because you can still summon in the final like hour, basically, more or less. Maybe not that extreme, because at that point maybe there's a new update to the game that they're doing it earlier. But final couple of days of the banner is definitely a good point where you can still do stuff. Now, this brings us into the shop stuff. So again, do keep in mind that in the same way that like there's a powerful opponent banner on right now, and they're offering powerful opponent tickets in the shop. Typically, when a new Peace Chaos banner comes around, they offer some sort of Peace Chaos stuff in the shop. Now, yes, a lot of it might be paid, but they do sometimes offer stuff like this, where maybe for some adventure currency, you can get some. Sometimes they do offer stuff like this, where it is a certain amount of your gems for a kind of better amount of Peace Chaos tickets. That's come up a couple of times, where they've done a thing where like you pay like 1,000 Peace Chaos, 1,000 Nature Stones for like 12 Peace Chaos tickets, which is effectively trading 10 generic summons for 12 specific Peace Chaos summons, which is more for the Azula banner. So you need to look throughout all of this stuff for options to get Peace Chaos tickets. That's the big deal here. Also, of course, like if there are any kind of options to get gems, do that as well. So for instance, you might be potentially thinking about the Nature Stones. You can get 2 per week for 200, 2 per week. Just do keep in mind that there might be Peace Chaos tickets for adventure currency. So maybe save this for one of your last things if you just absolutely need more Nature Stones. But that is an option you can do there. In the boss battle section, you have the ones here. Nature Stones for specific boss battle currencies. I think there's like 2 or 3 of these available each time. I always forget. So you can get about 100, 150 Nature Stones for just like say 15 of each boss battle thing, and by the end you have like 400 or 500. That can add up, and again, that's on a monthly cooldown. That one, you might still have them available for this month. I don't, but again, remember, by the time we're into September, this cooldown will have fallen off, and you can get them again for the next month, and the Azula banner will still be up for its last couple of weeks. And then, who knows, there might even be other event shops that have Peace Chaos tickets available for like other kind of currencies and bits and pieces. So there are like ways to get some of this stuff. Now, for anyone who maybe does want to spend a little bit of money, obviously there's the Make-A-Wish stuff, which is great because it supports charity, and you do get a certain amount of nature stones for doing that. So there is one of those bundles available for like, what, it was $4.50 or something like that, and you get one treasure box, which is like the full bravery set, and then one of the special rewards, which could be more coins. And then I think it's like 400 or something like that nature stones. That's pretty decent value, I think, and it supports a charity. So that's kind of nice. Beyond that, I would say that rather than going for this sort of stuff, which seems like maybe what you want, like just buying nature stones or just pure Peace Chaos ticket packs when they're available, I never find these are particularly great value, because you can see here it's like €60 for 40 summons, it's 120 for 80 summons. Even the ones that are meant to be like a little bit kind of better value, like say this, it's still like 35 for like, this is what, 22 summons and a skill coin, and it's like maybe, but not great. Even some of the Peace Chaos stuff is usually like, it's 60 for basically the equivalent of like 50 summons. Where you actually get the value is if you go to resources in the featured shop. And this bundle here is actually some of your best value for money, because you can see here, rather than it being skewed the other way, where you're basically like €1 is worth what feels like, you know, less than one summon. In this way, €1 is worth basically 2 summons. Now, it is split into the idea of you get 180 nature stones every day for 7 days, but it does mean you're paying 6 for 1,260 stones. And like, if you were to just do this twice for only like, say, €12, that's suddenly like basically 25 summons. And like, if you do this the entire way through, you know, this is a way for like the most probably reasonable amount of money to actually build up your nature stone kind of reserve for the Azula banner if you do want to actually spend money on it. There's the 31, which is, I think, decent value, but I think actually the one that's every week works out like slightly better value, I think. So just kind of keep that stuff in mind, that like, I think everyone forgets like to even look at what this kind of is, but for pure value, this is it, even though yes, you do have to wait a little bit, which is why if you kind of are maybe becoming aware that you are maybe super behind, you might actually need to put a little bit of money in to kind of get the characters that you want. Plan ahead with this. Like that is kind of the thing to think about here. But if you kind of think about it that way, it's like, oh yeah, I kind of even myself, I'm a little bit kind of almost worried going into the event, and I actually have basically 200 summons ready to go on that banner whenever it drops. But then you have to factor in that, oh, but wait, over the amount of weeks building up to the event and then the event actually happening, I'll probably be able to maybe just about get through a second round of pity as well. That's probably me pushed to my absolute limits, I suppose, trying to do everything, hoping that they are somewhat rewarding with the events and stuff like that are available, gifts that will actually kind of come out in terms of like, you know, they're basically celebrating the year anniversary of the game. So we assume we'll get some kind of more gift style stuff as the weeks go on. And they'll give you a little bit of Peace Chaos stuff to kind of get you going. You'll be surprised, I think, with Nature Stones and Peace Chaos tickets themselves, how kind of quickly you will be able to kind of gather them together just by, you know, slowly grabbing them from everywhere that you can. So I think that's probably the best advice I can give about all of this stuff, is just to kind of really utilize everywhere you can possibly get this stuff from. So the daily missions, the ads, everywhere in the shop that they're available, the prison fight, if you can do that, will basically double the amount you can get every day. and all the other kind of like banner and like event challenge stuff as well. So they're my thoughts on the Avatar Generations update and so on. So yeah, we're waiting for this to happen. I suppose really briefly, what are these characters actually like? Because the information is kind of basically in the game at this point. So Mei we know a lot about because she's basically already in the game. So Mei is a basically anti-positive state, anti-buff to a certain degree, an anti-heal character. So she's going to be inflicting special element on your opponents. She's going to be inflicting like bleed. She's going to have an ability that can kind of basically rip buffs off your opponent as well. She has some stuff that ties into the whole Team Azula dynamic, but I think it's only one of her masteries that actually does that. Otherwise, she is a unit that does seem to work either on her own or as a part of the kind of Team Azula thing. She seems kind of like a pretty nice kind of anti-meta pick, because there's a lot of like positive stances are very good right now with a lot of the characters, and Mei will be the one to kind of oppose a lot of that stuff. Azula looks crazy in terms of what like her abilities seem to be. There's just like multiple layers of like hidden and advanced abilities going on here. She's got the blue fire. There's a new blue fire debuff. Lightning is involved at the end of it. Ultimately, you would probably say she comes down to being like just more of a kind of straight up like damage dealer whose effects kind of add to her ability to have good damage output, and like kind of in a way like charge her abilities up to do the more powerful stuff and do more damage. So she seems to be kind of in the same line in a way as the kind of Moonslayer Zhao type thing, of just like she seems her kind of package of skills just seem to work in a very simple way, but like you can tell she's going to be super strong. So I think they've done a good job with the Azula unit, and I think everyone's going to want her. I'm assuming it's going to dominate the game for quite a while. Ty Lee is interesting in that I think some people will probably be disappointed with how so many of her abilities are tied to the kind of Team Azula dynamic, but there is a kind of core to her abilities that do kind of work on their own, in that like her basic does seem to just like basically chi block like a frontline unit and a backline unit, and the chi block debuff from what we know seems like quite strong. And yes, it seems like there's a secondary thing of like nearly all of her abilities that is like, and she buffs Team Azula in some way. You're probably losing out if you want to use her just on her own. She's maybe not the unique kind of special element character that we maybe wanted. Maybe that'll be saved for a different chi blocker or a different version of Ty Lee. But I still think like there's value to this Ty Lee, just in terms of like, yeah, first time like chi blocking is going to be directly like on abilities and doing stuff. So it seems pretty good. And again, she seems like the unit that's going to like tie the group together in terms of like their abilities actually directly buffing other Team Azula members, where it does seem to be the case that like Ty Lee and Mei sort of like clear the way in terms of like blocking, healing, stripping buffs, weakening the opponent, and then Azula is just going to be the powerhouse, like taking down your enemies. Like that's sort of the idea of the three of them together. And then remember, you can just slot someone else in there, like maybe the new piece Iroh it will be a nice pick also to go with them, or someone like that. Maybe a Zuko might add in there as well. There's a few different options. Maybe Juro just on his own might be a decent pick to add some healing support to the team. You know, there's going to be like fire. I think will remain the focus for now, but it is an interesting one, definitely. So in the comments, let me know what your thoughts are on this update. What are you doing to plan for the Team Azula? And then if there's any tips and tricks for getting extra nature stones or Peace Chaos tickets that I didn't mention here, I probably skipped over one or two places that they might be available, because there's a lot going on with the game. But let me know below, let everyone know what that is. But that's been the video. Thanks for watching, and bye.